Joining me now to discuss is the host of the Michael Savage podcast, the man himself, Michael Savage. How are you, sir?
I love your show. I'm thrilled to be on with you. You have a wonderful show and a great persona.
Oh, thank you very much.
We could talk about crime all day long here. It's insanity. But if you look at every one of these cities, San Francisco, you got a communist there. You got George Gascon in L.A. who was run out of San Francisco, and they're all using the money of George Soros.
That's right.
Who ran a foundation to promote open society. Gave $3 million to these different DA cases. Now you have a new one in New York, in Manhattan, Alvin Bragg. Another genius. A crime's going to go through. What the hell is wrong with Soros at age 91? So I'm thinking, John, tell me if this makes sense. He does everything for $1. He's doing nothing except for $1. So what is his end game, this guy Soros? He broke the British pound, or almost broke it. He almost broke the Malaysian pound where they don't let him into Malaysia by betting against it, selling him short. So is he trying to short the U.S. dollar? Does he have a big position in a shorted U.S. dollar? Is he trying to break the currency?
I would say yes.
There's no other reason for him to be doing this, John.
You know, Michael, in my real life before television, I was a short seller, and I know very much about shorting. And I tend to agree with you that George Soros, from what I know of him, he makes a bulk of his money shorting company stocks. After he gives them a little pittance to make them think he's on their side, then he winds up crushing them on the other side. I think you may be right. And, you know, Gordon Chang was just talking about Russia and China trying to come together on a petrodollar so they could knock the U.S. dollar out of the basket of international currencies. Soros, he probably wants lawlessness and Marxism and communism so that the U.S., he's probably been short the U.S. dollar for years.
Well, I sensed you were in the stock market somehow. You have that persona, you know. So I figured if I were to talk about shorting the currency of all the hosts of Newsmax,
not many people would know that one.
No, but I figured you would like that one. But it's true. In other words, I said to someone, why would this guy, George Soros, fund guys like Kim Foxx, Larry Krasner, now in New York, George Gascon, the nutcase in San Francisco? There's a reason for this. So she said to me, he never does anything unless there's $1 in it for him. Because I was looking at only the communism, the left-wing classic stuff. He wants to destroy America. That's too generic. There's got to be $1 in it for him to be doing it, she said. Now, is she wrong? How would we know? We don't know. But the fact is that he has funded these progressive legal arsonist D.A'S around America, and crime has surged wherever these DAs have won the race. You're about to experience this in New York. Isn't that wonderful?
Look
at the DA you have in New York.
No, it's out of control. And look, I said it before, as the son of a cop, it's getting less and less interesting for anyone to want to be law enforcement. They lose qualified immunity, so any guy who gets arrested can now sue the cop personally. And if they resist arrest and smack a cop or punch a cop, they're going to be prosecuted for petty larceny. It's like a 2-for-1 sale for criminals here in New York.
John, I have a question for you. The new mayor, he looked like, since he was a cop, he was going to be tough on crime. The first thing he does is appoints his brother, who was a parking guy, ran a parking thing in a college somewhere. Now he's like a top guy in the NYPD at $300,000 a year.
He's the liaison to the community affairs department. And you know, just one little snippet. He was an NYPD cop at some point, but now I understand he's running a parking garage.
Yeah, but I'm saying, does he not understand what the word nepotism means? Is this legal to appoint somebody in your family to a job like that?
Well, you got the new head of the Department of Education. You got his brother, Phil Banks, who's was a disgraced NYPD guy. He's back in the NYPD now. Oh. So it looks like, you know, he's getting the whole band back together. Eric Adams. There you go. You know what I mean? They call it a family affair, I think.
But no one's going to say anything because they're afraid of being called a racist, okay? Can you imagine if a white guy did this? Sorry. I mean, could you imagine if Bloomberg had done this? Now, he did it in a way. He appointed someone from his family, Bloomberg did, but they did it at no pay. I do not think that your new mayor's family will work for nothing.
No, he's getting $240. And by the way, by the way, as an Italian guy from Staten Island, imagine if somebody got in there and started hiring a couple of guys with vowels at the end of their names. They'd be going crazy. There'd be a RICO case already out there on them,
But there'd be less crime, and you could leave your packages in your car on Mulberry Street around Christmas. But
Nah.
John, how about Alec
I
Baldwin?
do want to get to
Alec
this.
Sorry, you mentioned
ahead.
L.A. You mentioned the shootings and they're buying guns. All the people who hate guns, hate the Second Amendment, suddenly are buying guns. So I wonder if Alec and Hilaria are going to create a gun club for them, because there'd be no one better to teach them how to use a weapon than Alec Baldwin. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. That's his next iteration. When he leaves acting, he should open up a gun club.
Yeah, well, he's, as we heard today, he's keeping his phone records close to the vest.
Oh.
But I want to ask you this. As a senator, Joe Biden co-authored Bill Clinton's 1994 crime bill, which reversed decades of rising crime. When asked about it as recently as 2016, he stood behind it. Take a listen to this.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, "I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill." You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
By and large, what it really did, it restored American cities.
I don't think so, Mike. Your final word.
Well, people would ask, how could he reverse himself? The answer is he forgot what he said in 2016. He doesn't remember. Each day is brand new to Joe. He wakes up, and it's a brand new day, and it's sad. John, I do not laugh at dementia. I do not laugh at old people who are making idiots of themselves. It's his family to blame. They should get this guy and give him a nice blanket, a nice chair somewhere with a TV set, and get him off the stage. Unfortunately, waiting in the wings is someone far worse than him. It's the giggler, Kamala Harris. What are you going to do when she takes over?
It gets scarier by the minute, but always a pleasure to have you with me. Michael Savage, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, John. A pleasure.
Great time.